Hello again, welcome back to Football Spy, the internet's premier transfer talk show. We've got Beckham, Terry Huntelaar and Crouch in today's show, but we start with this man. His name is André-Pierre Gignac. He's a 23-year-old striker and he was the French league's top scorer last season. Good player. He's emerged as the latest target for Arsenal. Lyon have already made a £13 million bid for him, say the Daily Mail, but his club Toulouse want closer to £18 million. That shouldn't be a problem for the Gunners who've got the Adebayor money burning a hole in their pockets. But the smart money is still on the Bordeaux striker Marouane Chamakh being the man to replace the striker, now being described in North London as Addy Bye-Bye. Just sticking with Arsenal, and it was nice to see Thomas Rosicky back playing for the Gunners after 18 months out injured. He played 45 minutes of their pre-season game against Barnet in London on Saturday, and he really will be like a new player for you Arsenal fans this season. I still think maybe you're just one or two players away from having a title-winning side. Just up the road, there's a new name for you Spurs fans. Last Friday night, Toulouse played Bordeaux in that friendly, and Harry Redknapp had scouts watching a 19-year-old midfielder called Moussa Sissoko. He's a French under-21 star, and he could well be starring alongside the likes of Wilson Palacios in the Spurs midfield next season, because apparently the reports were very favourable indeed. Now, we've got lots of emails from Spurs fans over the weekend pleading with us not to confirm that Redknapp is going to sign Peter Crouch, as if we've got anything to do with it. Well, I'm sorry to say that the rumour which started doing the rounds at the back end of last week are indeed true. Harry confirmed to SkySports.com at the weekend that he is indeed interested in working with Crouch for a fourth time. And the word is that Crouch wants to go to White Hart Lane. As such, he's made a ridiculous £90,000 a week wage demand to Sunderland, another team interested in him. So ridiculous, in fact, that Steve Bruce will surely say no, and Spurs will be and Crouch will be able to go to Spurs without feeling bad. I feel bad for the whole boss Phil Brown. He's a bit like that bloke at a disco that none of the girls will dance with. Michael Owens turned him down, and now it looks as though Bobby Zamora's wage demands are a bit too high as well. Can't really be surprised. Whenever Phil Brown's after a play, he tells the world so that by the time he comes round to speaking to that player, he knows how much Phil Brown needs him and asks for silly money. Anyway, now little Phil is telling us that he wants a fringe player, Andriy Voronin at Liverpool. He's the Ukrainian who vowed to fight his way into the first team at Anfield when everybody knows that he must be off his rocket if he thinks he can keep Torres out of the side. Time for your messages, and Gold Blend thinks Rafa Benitez at Liverpool will be the manager under most pressure this season. Saeed Dani wants to know who Chelsea will buy. I think they'll go back in for Alexandre Pato at AC Milan, and I think they'll also play a waiting game for Frank Ribery at Bayern Munich. Lots of you are agreeing with me here that Barcelona might well be off their rocker. They've done a deal with Inter Milan to swap the prolific Samuel Eto'o for the not-so-prolific, well, actually rubbish, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Mohamed says on YouTube, if Inter Milan pulled this off, it would represent the biggest theft since the great train robbery. Caddyshack thinks Barcelona have definitely got the worst of the deal for sure. Would you like a mango? Says Ibrahimovic is overrated and overhyped. Too many people think he's great because of computer games and YouTube video. But Bolanogi disagrees. He says Zlatan is one of the best strikers in the world. You can't judge a player on 2 games against Manchester United. Well, actually, I don't. I saw him loads of times in the Italian league last season. And he scores great instinctive goals, but put him one-on-one with the keeper and he is shocking. Anyway, keep your thoughts coming on that one. And also on this one, where do you think your particular team will finish in the Premier League next season? Man U won it last year, but lots of you United fans are a little bit nervous about the fact that there aren't too many big names to replace Ronaldo. Will you win it again, or will you finish second behind Arsenal, who I've already said are just a couple of players away? And what about you Villa fans? 6th place last year. Will you finish there again, or maybe much lower without Gareth Barry? Where will your team finish next season? Let me know. Now, Man City had their first pre-season friendly on Saturday. They were beaten 2-0 by the Orlando Pirates. So it's no surprise that Mark Hughes is stepping up his pursuit of the Chelsea captain John Terry. Here's a mail. The bid now looks set to go up to £40 million. Terry quite rightly hasn't said anything, but Mark Hughes is saying he still wants him, and that whole situation's not over by a long way. Mark Hughes also wants Joleon Lescott at Everton. Lescott's teammates are telling him not to go, but I think Lescott might well wait to see what happens with John Terry and City. If City do get Terry, then it could well be a different story. Now, across Manchester, here's a name that's popped up quite a few times this summer, Douglas Costa. We flagged him up a few weeks back when we did the Ronaldo replacements feature, and then it came out that actually Man U wanted to buy him but weren't prepared to pay the ridiculous £21 million that Gremio wanted for him. Now Gremio have come down to earth and United have made an £8 million bid with add-ons, but Chelsea are looming up on the horizon. The Spanish club Villarreal have made a £6 million bid with add-ons, and Man City are also sniffing around, and they've got the money to blow everyone out of the water. You can try and blow everyone else watching this out of the water in our Frank Ribery competition. Guess how much you think he will go for. We will pick one of the people that get it right at random. If it's you, you will win the Total 90 Shoot 2 boots from Nike. A few guesses for you, and Kaz Rocks thinks he'll go for £57 million. Marique Ashy thinks £47 million, but says he's injured and so might not move. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. And Thomas Richardson Lewis says £54 million. Let me know what you think on the blog, on YouTube, and on our email. Time for Shame the Player, and we're still getting loads of entries on this. Thanks very much. I've picked out Nick from St Kitts in the Caribbean. He thinks Sir Alex Ferguson might be in a bit of trouble next season. He says his inability to replace Ronaldo, not just as a goal scorer, but more importantly as a provider for Rooney and others, will provide United with many challenges. They expect to win everything at Old Trafford, and as soon as they start faltering, I think the tide will turn against him quickly, says Nick, which is always the beginning of the end. Nick goes on, many people have waited patiently for the opportunity to get stuck into Sir Alex. He is already moaning about the money being spent by other clubs, but he really needs to look at his spend over the last 5 years. Perhaps he is part of the problem rather than the solution. Strong words there from Nick. Now, today is D-Day for Spurs fans wanting to see the Real Madrid striker Klaas-Jan Huntelaar at the club. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar has already said that he's going to choose between the German club Stuttgart and Spurs. We'll find out today what happens there. Also, Xabi Alonso, D-Day for him. Goal.com is saying that his situation is going to be sorted out within the next 48 hours. And there may well be trouble ahead, even more trouble ahead, for David Beckham at LA Galaxy. He played a friendly against AC Milan last night and was barracked by the fans. It looks like all good things must come to an end, and they are doing so indeed in America for him. We are back tomorrow. Dan's going to be in the chair presenting. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll see you then.